Well, a very, very warm welcome to this, weekly CWA Facebook Live session. And CWA means,
Well,
Yeah.
Conscious World Agents.
yes, of course. And we are the co-founders of Conscious World Agents. And every week we have a topic that we write posts about, and then we have also our weekly live session to elaborate a little bit on this one. And of course you can ask questions, or maybe you have a different point of view. We would love you to share it with us. And then we can see if there is one outcome that we all can share or feel or want to live by. But it's all perception, and that's nice. It's also, we don't have the truth, we have our truth, and we have our way of looking at the world. And we are definitely open for other suggestions, other perceptions. Anything else that you would like to add?
I think that's a wonderful way of describing how we go about, and it's not like we preach the truth and everything we share here is just out of our own experience. So feel free to do whatever feels right for you, but it's not that we say you should be living like this or you should be living like that. It's just we feel that the way we are living our lives is very beneficial. And what we find at our sharing online, what we find helpful, has helped a lot of people, because they come back to us saying, "Wow, that's so amazing," and it helped me to reflect more on my own life. It helped me to give some more meaning in my life, and they really, love the tools we share. So hence we keep doing it, and in that way we also, like Arturo was saying, we write our posts coming from our own perspective, and that's how we go about. And that's the same when we give our training. You know, it's a free world. You have free will, so you can apply all the tools that we give, yes or no, and fill it in with your own expertise.
Absolutely.
And that's what we love doing, and what we like is that it's experiential. Whatever we do, you wrote another thing today for a quote for someone to give some training. It's experiential, because when you learn, through doing things, you can actually also feel in your body whether it resonates or not. And when we start to feel it in our body, then often the memory stays much longer than we just think about it. So hence we have experience days, or we have inspiration days, so you can feel it. We do some games, or whatever you want to call it, or it's not really a game, but it's something that you can experience, where you can actually feel, how is this for me right now? And that might inspire you to take the first or the next step towards your dream, your goal, your desire, how to make your life meaningful.
Absolutely.
And that's what our post was about this week.
Yes, it was a little bit about meaningful life.
Yeah.
Related to compassion.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is, I think you might see that every week we try to find another topic, or we don't even find it. It just pops up and we go, that's the one. And like this week, it was about compassion and meaningful life. What gives us actually meaning in life? And we'll go back over this many, many times, because that's what life is about. We all ultimately want to be happy. So how do we become happy? Well, Dalai Lama, for example, says it really well. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. So what is in that? What does he mean with that? So that's something that we basically have.
That was funny.
Well, it was really funny. In a way,
Yeah.
the phone just stopped.
Yeah. Although there is enough charge in your battery.
82%. So there's something definitely interfering.
There's, something interferes with what we want to tell.
Sometimes that happens
And
in
that's
the world.
great. That's then that also means that probably it can be important, not only for us, for ourselves, but also maybe for other persons. because we don't believe really in coincidence. So, okay, well, we are going to find out later what really happened. And it's also, you know, when we talk about compassion and fulfillment, do you allow yourself to have this feeling of fulfillment in your own life? Is it allowed in your surroundings that you can be happy and feel bliss? Or are there people that envy you? Say, well, this is not normal because there's so much going on in this world.
Oh yeah.
How can you be happy right now with all the suffering in this world? Yeah. Can be. But you know, no one ever on this planet, their situation, they didn't improve by being not happy. Never ever. So if at least one person is happy, then maybe there can be a ripple effect that radiates it. Well,
I think that is great, going to what you wrote about this week in your post, actually.
Okay. Shall I start then?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay.
I think it's a nice bridge.
Yeah, because a lot of times we talk about sympathy, empathy, and compassion, and they're pretty close. And we use all these words. Well, how do you say inter? Intertwine?
Intertwinkle.
Intertwinkle. Oh yeah.
We mix them up.
We mix them. That's true. I wrote something about the three words that it's how I see it. It's not the truth. It's how I experience sympathy, empathy, and compassion. And sympathy, for me, is also you are aware, and that's it's important to have this word. You are aware of the feelings of the other person. You see that the other person maybe is suffering or has concerns, and maybe you write a postcard and say, well, I'm so sorry for you, but you don't identify with it, you don't take it personally, and all so on, and you leave it there. But you are aware. When you talk about, well, there's also there's a pitfall in all three, I think, and the pitfall with sympathy can be that you stay at a distance, and the other one perceives it that you don't care, you're not interested in me.
Nice.
Yeah? It doesn't mean that you're not interested, but, well, you see it, you feel it, you see the feelings and the concerns, and that's okay. When you talk about empathy, then it's much more that you really feel it.
Did you just say empathy?
Yeah, empathy, I said.
I was going to say a new word.
No.
You know, when we envy someone.
No, empathy.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
Is there anything more? It's a lot of compassion you showed up for me.
I have a lot of compassion with it. This is also fun.
Empathy is that you see the other person's problems, the concerns, and you feel it right away. More or less your mirror neurons are working directly. You can also feel sometimes even the pain. You can sometimes even know what the other person is thinking or imagining themselves. And a lot of times you can relate to more or less the same issue you had earlier in your own life. And that's great. So you feel it and you're really listening to the other person, and the other person is really feeling that you try to understand him or her. That's great. The pitfall can be that you feel so much that you take over the story. Oh yes, I know this. Oh my, I had this. This was so terrible. And that it's about you then. So you take it personally, that moment. And then you take over the story, and the other person is maybe at the end thinking, well, it's about him again or her again. It's a pitfall. I don't say you do it every time, but be aware of it. So empathy is you can experience things. Sympathy is you are aware of the other, what's happening with the other person. Empathy is you experience it yourself. The next, the third one is compassion. And compassion has to do with empathy in action. And what do we mean with this? You are aware. When you have compassion, you are aware of the other one's suffering or concerns. You also can feel it. You even can sometimes walk the first paths in their shoes. Is that how you say it? Yeah? It's Dutch translation to English.
That's one for the book.
That's one for the books. So much compassion and empathy for me. And you want to take action, you want to help the other person. That's the difference with compassion. If you really show compassion, you can also, you want to help, you can help, but you also can let the responsibility for the situation there where it needs to be, and that's with the other person. And that's so important, because the pitfall with compassion is that you are going to help and the other person doesn't want you to help him or her. And then, no, I'm going to do it for you. No, please don't. And then maybe you need to go a step, well, I don't think it's a step back, but more be in the empathic way. So if another person is suffering or has concerns, it doesn't directly mean that you need to help. So that could be the pitfall, but compassion is really the next step when you talk about get rid of the suffering here, I think, on this global planet. We also talk about fulfillment. I'm going to read a quote of Lama Sopa Rinpoche. Yeah? Maybe you can share with the people within 30 seconds who Lama Sopa Rinpoche is, because you know him personally.
Yeah, I know him personally. Okay, so Lama Sopa Rinpoche is the founder of Kopan Monastery in Kathmandu, Nepal. He was with Lama Yeshe, he was the founder of this, let's say, monastery that was founded for Westerners, basically, who wanted to know more about Buddhism. And he's also the founder of FPMT, which is the Foundation for the Preservation of the Mahayana tradition, which is a type of Tibetan Buddhism, and he is a spiritual teacher in the Mahayana Buddhist tradition.
Yeah, and he is your...
He's one of my teachers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to read it because I think this summarizes so much in a great way what compassion means and how it can give fulfillment to you and the rest of the world. And it goes like this. All the peace and happiness of the whole globe, the peace and happiness of societies, the peace and happiness of family, the peace and happiness in the individual person's life, and the peace and happiness of even the animals and so forth, all depends on having loving kindness toward each other. And this will give you fulfillment. This is what we want. If we see And I think you're going to talk about it, but so I just give one example.
Well, you can tell my boss as well.
No, no. If you see a small child falling, what's the first thing that you want to do? Help it. That's all what we have initially. We were born with this compassion, this feeling. And why do we want to help? Because if we help each other, life will be so much easier. It will, and of course it starts with you. You are responsible for your own life, but you never ever can do it alone. You need help. You need other people to thrive, to grow, to have success, to be happy, and so on. And of course, at the end, I know with all the spiritual teachers and beyond, I know.
Yeah.
Maybe even there is no happiness. It's not needed because there's nothing.
Yeah.
But that's not where we are right now. So let's make it also practical. If you want to be happy, just like the Dalai Lama says, practice compassion. If you want others to be happy, practice also compassion. And if it's so difficult to practice compassion, practice compassion. Even to that person, and that's the compassion, that's real compassion, that's the difference between sympathy, empathy, and compassion. Even you can feel compassion to that person who's hurting you. If you can do this, you're free. Thank you.
Beautiful. Yeah, very nice. And I love what that quote as well that you said of Lama Zopa, because Lama Zopa is not really your teacher, but something got you from that message or that quote that he said.
Definitely.
And I like it in the way that, all the peace and happiness of the whole globe and so forth to the individual and animals, it depends on having loving kindness toward each other.
Yeah.
I think that already starts from birth, and there are people who are having discussions around this. Are we indeed innately compassionate beings, yes or no? There's always people say, but that person who does something for you, there's always something in there for them, So you also have this, and I was reading in the book last night. I was mentioning to you, A Fearless Heart by Thupten Jinpa.
Yeah.
He was saying that in his discussions when he was still at university, so he tried to say that naturally we're altruistic beings. We want to help others, like you said. If a child falls, you want to help.
Yeah.
But they were referring, like, for example, Mother Teresa, or whatever. We won't go into that now, but they were saying like, but there must have been something in there for her, So there's people always who want to look at that side if people want to help others. So my best example is always my own heart.
Yeah.
If I help someone, how does it make me feel? I feel better. And like you say, if the other person is willing to accept your kindness, how does that make them feel? And we can just check that with ourselves. What if I leave it or not? How does it feel? And that's what my post indeed was about. It's like, for example, when you walk in the streets and you hear someone fall, and your first reaction might be, oh my gosh, I want to help. But that's our innate beingness, that is want to be kind, wants to help others. But then the mind kicks in, like, what if that person is a drug addict, or it's a setup and they want to steal my wallet, or what if, whatever, these silly ideas, or is it safe, is it alcoholic? Oh, people have crazy ideas coming in.
Another person will help.
Someone else might help, that's also, and then, I don't have time, and we leave it. But something then can niggle in you and inside you that says, well, it's not, I didn't really help that other person. But it can be things like that. Or like you say, you're at the beach and you all of a sudden hear help, someone is in the water. Automatically, when we hear help, you look, you want to see what's going on. So there is a response, and then we might act upon it or not. Now, and that is an example of when we do something, it gives us a sense of happiness. And when we compare these things with, for example, materialistic things, the part that lights up in our brain is completely different. So we really, our body responses when we help others. The same part, the same serotonin, the same oxytocin hormones, they kick in when we help others. So what does that do? It makes our bodies also feel better, healthier. The immune system builds up, all these things. So why are we so strong about that? Because we also train in companies, we train people who have quite good leadership positions, teachers, schools, what have you, high companies. We see they're people who can make a difference in the company. So when we then start to look at how can compassion create kinder cultures, we need to look in these positions also. So that's why we are so hot about it, because it does change the people's attitude towards others. And you create more a culture of we rather than me. And I think that's why we love it and why we share it. It's one compartment of what we love, but there is so much happiness in helping others. You know, we find it in people who have great success in the world, if we want to call it success, but who are very successful and perhaps also have lots of money, and then they're still missing something. And then they start a charity, or they want to help the elephants, or they want to do this or whatever. And why? Because we have this innate capacity already in us to be of selfless service, to do something for others. Now, what I like about you is when you write the things about sympathy, empathy, and compassion. Compassion is doing something. So we have this experience in our body, remember it, and the whole body responds on that. And like you said, empathy. You can have empathy for someone when you really take on the feeling, and like you said, that pitfall I really like, that it becomes your thing. But what also can happen, if you're very empathic, the emotion can be so strong that you suffer from it because you feel it so much. I mean, really, I can speak out of experience, having been in countries where there have been earthquakes, where I did post-traumatic counseling for people, and it's really difficult then to distance yourself from what people are going through. It's really hard, and my body reacted on that. You know, I won't go into that, but right now, but there was something that my body responded, which I went for the doctor from, and they said, well, that's what you often get when people, like from the Red Cross or whatever, when they go to these regions when there's been trauma, then your body will take it on. So I had to learn how to balance empathy, and the FDCW Foundation for Developing Compassion and Wisdom, they did a training on this as well, to develop balanced empathy, because for people, especially in that kind of sector, they find it hard to balance that. So beside that, it's not that you think it's your problem, but the fact to take on the feeling of someone it can be really heartbreaking sometimes. So and still, you know, when we then can do something and help, that really helps us to build our immune system, to have more joy in life, to build deeper and meaningful connections with the people as well. And we just felt, and these times when we see what's going on in the world, this is a tool that most everybody can develop even better. So if you want to know how, then we can share. We have actually on, I think it's on my website still, the e-book from Compassionate Leadership, whatever, that people you could order that if you want. But trying to see, maybe we can make a little giveaway at some point as well for people, where they can actually learn certain techniques, how to do this. There's one beautiful meditation that you could do that's called Metta, the Metta meditation, loving kindness meditation. You will find it online. That's a really beautiful meditation that we also have in our 4-Leaf Global program, that will really help to develop the compassion within yourself. And I don't think we should forget here the self-compassion also. If you find it
Absolutely.
hard to feel compassion for others because you're going through a lot of stuff yourself, and also first start to practice that self-compassion, being kind to yourself. So the metta, I will see if I find a link with an easy explanation somewhere for the metta, the loving kindness meditation, and we'll put it under this video later.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically what I had to share this week with you about compassion and meaningful life. And thank you for your beautiful posters.
Thank you. I love your story. That's and it's so good to experience also for yourself that if it triggers so much inside of you, basically. There's also the learning part for you there. How can you be empathic, help other people and with the compassion, and still don't see that it's not you? Although, again, beyond, we're all one. And I think that's also one of the things why we have this compassion inside of us. There's a reminder, hey, if you suffer, I suffer. So beyond is also the reason why I think we have the compassion. And it's not you at that moment when we talk here about this physical level. So it's also, I think you wrote it also about the wisdom.
That's it.
Having the wisdom to see that it's not personal.
Yeah. And then you're still able to take action, because if you are then also really getting emotional with that's not a help for that other person. That person might just need someone who says, okay, well, I'll take that step, or I'll take you to that place, or whatever, or I'll say how you say another word or something like, because you recognize it.
Yeah.
So, like for example, when you said about the words that you said something different, I do that all the time, this double Dutch, so I recognize it, and this was just funny. But so I really
you find it funny.
I find it really funny. That's true.
Okay.
Yeah. But I know you do as well. And this is the case, then we can recognize it, but we can also do something about it. But this was just a joke, of course. And I love that, how we then can say, okay, I recognize this, I can feel it, and I'm still able to take a step towards perhaps a better outcome for that person. And check, I loved what you said, check up, do you want my help?
Yeah.
Because people say, like you say, no, I don't, I need to go through this myself. This is part of my journey or my life story.
Yeah.
You don't have to solve it for me. No. But be honest, be transparent, be clear, and share that with each other. Well, there we are.
Yeah. And if you really want to experience this and have new inspirations on, for instance, this fulfillment and finding your purpose and showing this compassion, August the 30th, we have an online session. That's an inspiration day, the whole day. You can go to our website, consciousworldagents.com, and then go to Inspiration Day. There you will find much more information about it, also what people experience during these days. And that's amazing, really. That's amazing what they wrote down. Yeah. If you want to sign up with 2 persons at the same time, then the second person will get 50% discount. So that's the online session. And we have a live session in October 4th, here in Bussum in the Netherlands. Also the whole day, it's including the lunch, I think. Yes.
Coffee, teas, lunch.
Yeah. If it's not, then by this, you will get the lunch if you sign up. And also for this, it's also the second person 50% discount. So again, go to our website, consciousworldagents.com Inspiration Day. We used to call it the Experience Days, but it's the same. The content will be the same.
Yeah, slightly different here and there.
Oh, slightly different, I hear. And, but you will have fun, you will experience a lot of things, and you will have some takeaways there, definitely. We would love you to join us and to sign up there, of course. In the meantime, have a great weekend. Do at least 2 things today, tomorrow, and the day after, and further, that will make you happy, and see where you can show compassion towards yourself and towards other people.
Wonderful. I love it. And anything else that we need to say? Yeah, thank you for your comments, of course. Thank you for watching. It's always great that you're here. Yeah, please share what you find helpful, how it has helped you, what has helped you. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you again soon. Watch our notifications on Facebook, because August we are quite a little bit away here and there for work. So keep an eye out on our next Facebook Lives, and thank you for watching up or looking at our posts, putting the comments under there, and thank you for sharing them too.
Yeah. Well, thank you for watching, and Hero Share, thank you for your comment with great information.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And also, if you want to be updated and put on our newsletter, then send us an email at consciousworldagents@gmail.com, and we can put you on our mailing list for our newsletter if you're not so much on social media.